This is MC Fireside Chats, a weekly show devoted to the outdoor hospitality industry, hosted by Brian Searl and Cara Csizmadia. You'll hear from special guests that focus on topics to help your business succeed, all backed by Modern Campground, the most innovative news source in the industry.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of MC Fireside Chats. My name is Brian Searl in my fancy little corner. Terrible background. Wish I was at ARVC with all these people who we have on the show here, but just travel wouldn't let me get down there today. So I've got to at least step up my background and do something virtual next week. But in the meantime, welcome to another episode. Super excited to have a bunch of guests here who are live in Raleigh, North Carolina. We've got Mr. Joe Duemig, who's going to take us on a little bit of a tour of the expo hall when it gets set up and all that kind of stuff. We've got Heather Blankenship, who's having a little bit of connection issues, but I feel like it's normal during all conventions ever that they don't provide enough Wi-Fi for us to do what we really want to do in 2021. And then we got Mr. Alex Goldman here from Ideal Software, who's going to explain a little bit about what his company does, talk about his looking forward to the vendor expo and things like that, as well as Mr. Roy Heimowitz. Did I pronounce that right, Roy?
Yes, fine. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Some Skyhawk monitoring products. He's going to do the same thing. We've got Cara, who I don't even know why Cara's here. She's in Canada. Like we have one. Well, yeah. Probably better than me. Like we only need one person in Canada, so I can leave the show if you guys feel that would be better. And then we've got Angela Hilton here, obviously from Modern Campground and Insider Perks, going to take some charge here and join us on the podcast to help us set up guests and things like that. So welcome, Angela. It looks like maybe we've got Heather back, but we'll see. All right, so where do we want to start? Like it's super excited. It's OHCE 2021.
Yeah, I want to know how it's gone so far from anybody who's been in events and things, how it's going and kind of what's happening over the next couple of days. Just a quick breakdown.
Yeah, so I can give you my experience so far. We are signed up as one of the hosted buyers. So we got in on Sunday and had a meeting that night with a potential client. And then yesterday I had meetings. I had 5 meetings kind of back to back. With different campgrounds that are looking, just looking to purchase things. So the hosted buyer program allows them to come in for free, but they have to have sit-down meetings with a certain amount of vendors. And those went really well. So they have a really cool little VIP area for them. And so last night they had hors d'oeuvres and free drinks, and you got to sit down and have meetings with your potential clients. And all of my meetings went really well. They went really well. So actually, I can actually show you the area over here.
Yay! Look at this VIP treatment. I don't even need to go.
I love the setup of the hosted buyer meetings. That sounds great. I love the personal touches of making people feel comfortable instead of just shared.
Yeah, it's been pretty great. So what they did was. So they have this whole area, this whole lobby area roped off. And over here they had an hors d'oeuvre station, and over there they had drinks. And then some people could go into the room as well. And so there was probably about 50 people having meetings last night. And it's basically 2-on-2 meetings. So probably 25 to 30 meetings going on at all times. And it went really well. The only kind of negative at all was that it was sometimes hard to find the person that you're supposed to meet with because you don't know what they look like.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. No, I love that idea. I think it's so great to, get more folks directly face-to-face connected with suppliers and vendors. That's so awesome. Especially after this long year of disconnected or virtual connection, that one-on-one really personal stuff. Obviously, sounds like there's lots of appetite for that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, hosted buyer went really well for us virtually last year. And again, some of you know, some of you don't. I'm kind of stuck here in Canada, work permit issues, those kinds of things. That's the only reason I couldn't be down there. ARVC with you guys. Looking forward to coming back next year. But yeah, that sounds like a really nice setup. It sounds like it's really well thought out and planned. And yeah, I mean, are Roy or Alex, are you guys participating in hosted buyer at all or no?
No, actually, I actually just came down last night and we're just doing the exhibition. So
okay.
Unfortunately.
Same. Yeah, I just got here this morning.
Well, now you guys know for next year,
exactly.
right?
I've already written it down, and I'm excited to take part next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we had, like Brian said, we had some really good conversations last year. We weren't exactly sure how it was going to go. It was the first time that we'd done anything like that, and we actually had more meaningful conversations, even though we were virtual. We had more meaningful conversations because they were people that were actually interested. I think we got paired maybe with a couple of people that were like, we have no idea who you are and we don't need anything that you offer. But for the most part, it was nice to actually have conversations with people that were looking to purchase services, that were actually interested in the services that we offer.
Yeah.
And from that aspect, we had better conversations there than we've had in the booth at some shows.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and this year, so we did it last year also when it was virtual. This year's actually even been better because the last year the clients, the guests, attendees, they weren't really able to go and pick out who they were meeting with. And this year they had a whole platform where they can pick their meetings. And so it was definitely a little more, they got exactly what they were looking for as opposed to a random pairing. So I would say our meetings were more meaningful this year than they were last year. But it was great.
I think some of it last year too had to do with people registering pretty last minute as well, and so people wanting to register as a hosted buyer. At some point, it was a matter of, okay, you're required to attend this many meetings, and now we just need to pair you with people that still have available slots. So it sounds like they've kind of worked some of those kinks out, though. So that's great to hear.
Yep.
Yeah, it was interesting to participate as a buyer. I got to meet with a ton of different vendors. It's a really great option that they've done over the last couple of years. I agree with Joe. We were kind of running around going, who are my people and who are we supposed to be meeting? So ARVC made signs that they hand wrote that looked like you might be meeting somebody at an airport, so we could all see each other as their last minute solution. But it was really great to have that extra time to chat with vendors instead of them having 30 other people stopping at their booth that they're trying to focus at the same time. It'll be interesting to see how many purchases and different things that people make with that different type of connection.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see too, with people that are participating as a hosted buyer, if they're being matched with the people and services that they're interested in. It will be interesting to see what numbers the expo actually has versus registered people versus actual attendees. Simply because some people, they're coming because they want to only talk to these types of service providers, and if they've already done that, it'll be interesting to see what the expo actually looks like once it's live too.
Yeah, I agree. I'd be interested to hear about all of those stats and how those things impact. But I think looking at it as a campground owner, I imagine, well, maybe I'm not representative of the sample, but I feel like more than one kind of in-person connection is typically valuable and necessary for me to make a purchase commitment. So that first meeting being really personal and one-on-one and connected, and then being able to maybe stop at a booth again later and follow up, would be really valuable to me.
Yeah.
100% great.
I like that they did the hosted buyer meetings. Well, I should ask Joe, are they doing hosted buyer meetings all throughout the week?
I don't know. I had 4 set up yesterday, and I actually have 1 set up during the trade show, during the expo. So I don't know how that's going to go. I will have someone else with me, so I have someone to man the booth. But they're actually the hosted buyers are actually going to be coming to my booth.
Okay.
So
the meeting's yesterday, and they're going all the way through Thursday afternoon. So they are set up for the whole week.
It's interesting that they have hosted buyer meetings happening during the live expo, especially for people that are the only person in their booth, and being able to give attention to the people that are still stopping by. I do think it's great, though, that they started them so early in the week before the show. Like Cara said, people that can make that connection, and then they have a little bit of time to think about it, but still make the purchase at the show. A lot of times I know vendors will offer specials only during the show, so it's nice that it gives them a preview a little bit of what they're going to see or what's going to be offered later in the week.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, I think there's probably a balance if you have more than one person at your booth, but it will be interesting because as a hosted buyer, you probably expect that face-to-face time, and then being in the middle of the trade show, competing with other people. I mean, obviously you can balance that well, Joe, with Rose, but it'll be interesting to see how that works. And then again, like you guys were commenting, like it'll be really interesting to see if you're coming and you've talked to these vendors, do you still go to the expo? Because we traditionally have seen it, not necessarily ARVC, but most conferences overall, like they hit the show hard during maybe the first night of the first session, and then it kind of dies off. So does that hold true, or do less people browse the expo because they've already talked to people they want to? Be interesting.
Heather, how many meetings, how many hosted buyer meetings does an attendee sign up for?
They're supposed to sign up for a minimum of 6. And the interesting thing is they had so many sign up, they had to go back and open additional times so that we could all sign up for times. And with some of the things you're saying, y'all are mostly on the vendor side and me being on the buyer side.
Right.
Way more people than 6 that I have on my I need to check before the expo is over. So I'm super excited for the expo to open tonight at 6 and be able to go meet with the rest of those vendors. And also, because I'm in the middle of this purchase on a new property, my current focus is the alternative accommodation. So even though I got some basic information from those meetings last night, I'm excited to come in and now see the product that they're offering today so that I'm buying decision before. So it really is taking that 2-step process because I got to go over the information last night to come and then make my buying decision today.
Absolutely.
That's an excellent point, yeah, especially with the glamping accommodations, because you don't have that tent kind of soda wagon, that thing to walk through like you would during the expo. So yeah, that's a really good point. Heather, you have somebody with you. Do we want to? I don't want to take up his time and make him stand there. So you want to talk to him and figure out who he is, and then we can let him go if he's got other stuff to do.
Absolutely. So it's been interesting sitting through all of the classes this week. The big thing is I would say at least 50% of the people I'm meeting are all developing parks. So when Brian, you said, go find us a vendor that seems like somebody we'd want to talk to, I thought, okay, let's find somebody who can accommodate all so I met Michael yesterday. They offer a product that has to do with the pedestals when they're developing, and it allows us to charge back the electricity, which is a huge benefit for parks that have seasonal guests or long-term guests, because that is something that they should be doing. And I know I was talking with Peter, who's the chairman of the board, yesterday, and they are currently manually reading 280 meters a month. So for
Been there.
people like that, yeah, Cara's been there. It's a really great option. So I'll let you guys talk to him about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you. There's a little bit of an echo with Heather, so Heather, I'm going to mute you temporarily.
You're muted.
I don't know if that's actually.
Wait, just put your. Yeah, I think she's got it. Yeah, she just stepped away. I think it'll work now. All right. Well, thanks for having me on here. And yeah, just to kind of add a little bit more info. So I'm Michael Rivas. I'm with Util IoT, and I'm actually here at this event. It was kind of like a last minute participation. Our friends over at Electrical Works, they do about a dozen RV parks a year in terms of full turnkey development. And we partner with them on board and offer a solution that it does exactly what Heather says, which is basically offer park manager the opportunity to monitor and meter all of the utility consumption from all of these sites all at once, all from a remote location. So it basically takes all that information that you would typically get from walking up to any pedestal. You can see all the utility consumption, whether electrical, water, and then it brings that online, and it kind of gives you a little bit more than just having, the handwritten notes that you look at for the consumption over the time. So our service is aimed to kind of change that whole interaction and bring some more data for you to work with, and then kind of change that interaction as a park manager. Our product itself integrates well with all of the park management software, so it kind of extends that whole interaction to bring more smarts into the industry.
We talk all the time about automation on this show, so I highly recommend those for the parks that are charging back for power. That's a big job when you're doing that stuff manually. It's great to see products like this coming online and showing up at the expo. It's awesome.
I was
Is this
actually
your
in
first
one
year
of,
at ARVC? Or I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say I was in one of the sessions today, and one of the during the session, the gentleman that was speaking said that he actually meters his overnights even. And so what happens is as soon as they check in, the meter is red, and as soon as they check out, the meter is red, and then they're billed. And so it's not even for long-term stays. Now some people are considering doing this for, short-term and overnight stays.
One of the big topics around that was one of the sessions was on electric vehicles. And so people are asking, okay, when somebody comes in and they plug in their electric vehicle, in addition to that RV, then what's the difference in what it's costing me? So that sparked the conversation with Michael to think, okay, is that something that overnight parks need? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, and it's definitely
it's interesting. I mean, learning about all the technologies and things like that. Go ahead, Michael, please.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So expand a little bit on that. I mean, it really comes down to the kind of the business model that pertains to the particular campground and how you're billing that customer on the utility side. For the example that was shown earlier today, where that electric vehicle is showing up, and it's going to take the space, same along with like a towable or something else. It really just goes back to your utility model. If you're charging them, you're passing along that cost to your camper, then you're going to measure it all the same, and you're going to provide that same kind of service to them. So it's no different for day to day. Where it really does change is for the overnighters or the one-nighters, or I mean, I guess the short-term campers that are on site. And those are the ones that it really goes back to how you operate and how you choose to bill for the utility on that end. But I mean, all our service does is it gives the manager the option to see exactly what that is from anywhere, and then it consolidates a lot of the labor that goes around maintaining and operating the utility and billing aspect of it.
Yeah, it's really amazing to attend these shows and see all of these new vendors who some are repeat guests, or they've been there years and years and years in a row, and some are brand new and some we haven't heard of. And as the technologies change and the new services and more people develop, just see all those kinds of things that pop up. And I know we've got two on here that we're going to talk to in a second. Alex and Roy are going to tell us about some of their unique products. They're excited. They just got in today, I think, and they're going to attend the expo too. But I do want to get to Heather real quick and touch, because I don't want to cover all on vendors, right? Like, Heather, tell us what's been the campground owner side of the perspective. How the sessions is going, the meals, the networking, those kinds of things.
We were talking about this earlier. The food has been significantly better than usual. So they have definitely heard us talking about how we would like to have some edible meals at these conferences, which that's what everyone, right? How's the food?
Yeah.
But from a campground owner's perspective, they did a really good job this year picking the agenda. The classes have had a wide range of things that were interesting to everybody and good topics that my team is dividing and conquering. But like I said before, about 50% of the people here are either interested in developing, or they bought their land and are getting ready to start developing. Our attendance is through the roof. We have double what we saw at the last conference. It's we were at 860, the last count I heard in my board meeting on Monday. So that is significantly increased from the last time that we were in Raleigh. Same with the vendors. The vendor floor is full. You can see me walking past one of the park models here. But overall, it seems to be going really well so far. The class that was overflowing out the room this morning was, again, one on development.
That's awesome. Really speaks to how the industry is going.
They didn't solve the overflowing class problem, Heather. We had that at your session like 2 years ago.
I know.
Can have worse problems.
That's true. Oh, Joe's got a little picture here of the expo hall.
Yeah,
from
it's
a
awesome.
nice vantage point. Like, we should. Yeah, Joe, can you bring a drone next year? Can we fly that inside the RV? I can't hear you, Joe.
Muted.
You have a great view, but you're muted.
Sorry. I said I just keep one in my backpack. I'll just bring it out real quick.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank you, Joe.
Totally.
Like, you're so versatile.
That's service.
And you can probably control it from your app too.
Yeah.
Which we'll definitely have to talk to you about your experience later. So, so sessions are going well. What other classes have they had, Heather?
I was in one marketing that was interesting. They were talking about a different type of marketing than we usually hear about, related to how how the customer themselves are contributing to their SEO, not just the marketing company that you're using. That was pretty interesting. Works with local small businesses. There's been classes on financing. There was somebody here talking about the SBA and SDA or USDA loans. Obviously, they've got their normal software sessions going on. Kind of the typical stuff you see. The speakers just seem to be a little more.
And did you, Heather, did you attend the camp meeting? Has that happened yet?
All of the camp meetings have conflicted with my board meetings and my YP this and that. I've got too many roles for everything.
Yeah, it's definitely a jam-packed schedule. So Joe's running around the expo hall. Joe, if you find another vendor or somebody interesting for us to talk to, let us know. But let's move to Alex real quick. And Alex, Ideal Software, are you new at this? Is this first ARVC conference?
First conference, yes. So we have a customer, Beth Ryan, that suggested we come and visit and check it out. Our software is geared and really rooted more in the family entertainment center industry. But as we've grown over the past close to 40 years now, with the capabilities kind of growing and growing, we find different industries from time to time that we end up being a good fit for. And this seems like one that's really starting to move into that direction. So
that's awesome.
So what does Ideal Software do? Give us your elevator pitch, as you will. And Heather, if you want to find somebody else to interview, you can too. Please feel free. We're no structure here. We'll just randomly pull people aside. Go ahead, Alex.
Yep. So we do point of sale, online booking, ticketing, cashless for arcades, and a little bit of everything around that. And what that allows us to do, also that cashless that may be reserved for an arcade, also would give you the ability to have a cashless card or wristband to be able to run around the property, leave your wallet, in your RV and just be able to run around. Especially works well with people who have water parks where you're definitely not carrying a lot of valuables with you while you're going down slides. So having the ability to charge up a card or a wristband, we see a lot more upfront spending, especially if you can give incentives after you figure out kind of what the normal spend is, give those incentives to get those higher level of spends. And then of course, that convenience of having it on a wristband and just being able to scan it wherever. It feels like that money's already spent. So people are feel better about using that a little more freely. So that's definitely a nice side of it. Then we also give you tools for mobile point of sale capabilities to run around and take orders. We've also released an app that gives you the ability to do food and beverage ordering and also manage your wristbands. So you can manage your kids' wristbands if they're at the arcade and you need 10 more minutes as parents alone, then you can top off their wristbands to be able to be used in the arcade. And then we also do have full food and beverage and bars. So we've talked to some people with swim up bars and being able to make sure those wristbands work there. And of course, water parks. I mentioned that a minute ago. We do membership capability, season pass, admission, capacity management. If you have a smaller park and need to manage that capacity. So we try and do a lot of different things. We're not going to do your reservation software. So you definitely would want to keep your reservation, but we would do pretty much everything else.
Yeah, I really don't see a downside to having a wristband because, like you said, number one, the mindset changes, right? Instead of pulling out my wallet or my credit card or cash, I've got a wristband, and so you're still maybe a little bit conscious of what you're spending, but like you said, there's kind of a prepay feel to it, and there's also a not that same hesitation when you're trying to pull out cash and it's right in front of you that you're spending more money than you should. But also from an everything else standpoint, it's convenient. You're talking about swim up bars and arcades and mini golf. You could have little scanning stations at the beginning of that. So it impacts your staff. And then from a children perspective, it's very easy to steal from your parents' kids. So you don't have to pull out the wallet, get into mom's purse. It's probably just sitting right on their nightstand. So just sneak in at night, get some candy. Because I don't see a losing thing here. Everyone should buy one of these.
That last part sounds like a terrible idea, but
we've officially crossed into the bad advice section of the episode this week.
I think it's a really interesting piece of software, and I can absolutely see how it translates well into this industry because, so many people do have all of these different channels of income or revenue streams throughout their park. But it's also a great way to incentivize people to book too, because I feel like you said there's that prepay aspect. So you can offer a 2-night cabin stay in a slower part of your season or an RV site, and you can say it comes with X amount of dollars on the wristband. And when you're factoring it all together, like, it's not even an expense for you that you're giving them this credit that they get to spend. And so you could really go a lot of ways with it. It's really cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And Brian, something that you're kind of mentioning there, some people like the prepay aspect. Other people say, hey, I'd like to give them an unlimited. Let's just attach a credit card to this and be able to spend that wherever. Now, we do recommend that you don't give your kids the credit card link. So we do give that to the adults, though, and say, hey, if you want to just leave it at home, if you don't want to think about that right now, you can use this wristband to be able to top off your kid's card, and it'll charge your credit card at that time. But we usually reserve that for the families. But yeah, the name of the game is convenience here too, and that's one thing is you look at it's great for the campground because now they're able to kind of initiate more of these sales where it wouldn't happen originally. But now for the guests, I mean, between again leaving your wallet at home or even the convenience of I'm sitting at campfire site 3 and I need more wood and we need a round of drinks and something else. Having that ability to put that order in from a mobile device and then have just a fulfillment center, some kid on a golf cart bringing stuff. I mean, think about the additional sales there. So again, huge convenience for the customers. I know glamping's getting to be definitely a big thing. And so this plays right into that. But also just, customer service side and the upside of the sales is huge.
Alex, I'm not a campground owner and you should never listen to anything I say. But what about a dog collar version where they could scan and go on the attractions in the dog park? Like you could just put it on your dog's collar and he could that's an incentive, like incidental income. I feel like that would work.
Yeah. I don't
What do you
see
think,
why
Cara?
not.
You have a dog. Like we could just put it on his collar and then if he wants to go up the slide, there's a little scanny thing where he pays $1 and the campground makes more revenue.
Yeah, no, I think that's one barrier to this plan that might not take off.
Brian, no one treats dogs like you treat ours.
No, yeah, my dog can't go on a slide.
Brian,
Anyway, so.
love talking about your dog. I found a vendor booth that has camper dog treats that you can sell inside the store.
So cute.
Nice.
Yay!
Love it. Here's
You guys
my
love
dog's
that.
right here. Like you can see here's my puppy dog. She doesn't leave my lap, so
Yeah.
she came up to
I
Canada
feel like
and
the
always
circle
loved
of life is playing right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we can get Riley a collar and have her charge you $1 per excursion to your heart's content.
I have a question for Alex real quick.
No, not for me. Go ahead,
What?
Angela.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
question for Alex real quick. I know obviously you guys are not a reservation system, but do you have any APIs available that tie into any of the other reservation systems so that people can, in a roundabout way, track the entire spend of a single customer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, we are new to the campground industry, but we are in talks with 1 or 2 companies right now, looking to expand on that hopefully soon. But yeah, that's definitely in the plans.
Yeah,
Right
I
on.
could see that being a huge benefit, being able to really, really track and hone in. Because right now you can only track what a guest is spending if you are using your reservation system to sell certain things, but the reservation systems aren't expansive enough necessarily to be, to my knowledge anyway, I'm not a campground owner, but to my knowledge, not expansive enough to be a full-on POS system of every single thing that you sell in your store. I don't think anyway. And so I could see that being a benefit to be able to say, wow, they use their wristband and this is everything that they spent while they were in my park on top of their reservation fee, and being able to really see the value of that customer.
For sure. Yep. And that's definitely the beauty of the cashless system. I mean, when they originally get that wristband, they completely fill out all their information, set up a customer profile. And so just like you're saying, I have full view of spend that you're able to see there. And you're also able to do some cool loyalty things on top of that, like saying, hey, if you spend X amount, then you start getting into a VIP club where you get certain benefits. Or even if you come and visit us a certain amount of times in a year, then, we can start and put a free ice cream cone on there or whatever you might want to come up with. There's a lot of creative things that you can do to be proactive in getting people to come back or just spend more money while they're there.
That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
love it.
Love that.
Even if you can't integrate with the reservation systems, right? I think I would like to know whether you as a company would ever develop just an API that other developers could let to jump onto. And I know Joe's got somebody we want to talk to here in a second, but Joe actually helped us build an integration where CampSpot specifically, we're tracking revenue for some of our larger clients, where it feeds in from CampSpot's kind of online booking into a CRM so they can track that next to the person's name. And if we could add ancillary revenue into that, that'd be super cool, because then you could target based on what they purchase and offer them coupons and all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah, tons of great data.
Exactly. Yeah, and we're built on a lot of APIs. We're always open to collaboration. And that's one of the special things about this company is they're pretty quick to dig in and see what it would take to get that done. So yeah, that's a great idea.
yeah, let's look up after the show or something. Angela can give her a contact information. We can at least do because it's a story worth telling about your product on Modern Campground. So, Joe, I don't want to make you wait anymore. You look like you got somebody there.
Yeah, so Heather earlier, she dropped off here, but she mentioned that one of the things that she was excited to do and why even after the hosted buyer program, she would come to the expo is to look at more interesting glamping accommodations. And so I'm right here with
Take
the
us
huge
inside,
Conestoga
Joe.
wagon. Well, I'm going to actually, I'll let you, Planescraft wagon. I'm going to let Dennis go ahead and show you around and
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Well, we're here at the ARVC
Dennis?
show. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, just great. So I just do this, I guess, and kind of show you the wagon. Let me walk inside and show this to you.
Cool.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Love
The
it.
wagons are so beautiful. It's
Wow.
one of my favorite things about any trade show is being able to actually see all of the glamping accommodations and
Yeah.
cabins, all of that in person. We see so much of it through pictures with our clients, but they're so beautiful and so much more room than what you would expect too once
Yeah.
you're in there.
That's what I was
Well-
just thinking. It's so much bigger on the inside than I thought it would be.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
they really are.
glamping. Right there. Glamping.
If you go to our website, planescraft.net, I'm trying to show you the bathroom here. And the
Yep.
shower.
That's good.
Here's the shower.
Just tilt it down a little bit. We can see the bottom of the shower. We can see the top of it right now. There you go. Perfect. Yep. Now we got the sink in there, and
Yeah, there you
Nice.
go.
That's very
So,
nice.
So nice.
yeah, so we sell wagons with bathrooms and without. We start with a simple wagon and then add the amenities that you need. Bathrooms, air conditioning. There's Joe. We're having a good time at the show. I'm 6'5", so it gives you actually a decent.
wow,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot of headroom.
Great headroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big accommodation.
Yeah. So we're growing our business and we're increasing production right now. And so anyway, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just like the olden days that they had these couple magazines that come from the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Refrigerator,
Wine
Yeah, that's
cooler.
exactly when I was playing Oregon Trail when I was a child. That is exactly how it went.
Exactly what it looked like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dream
In the
come
computer
true.
labs at school, we're dating ourselves here.
Yeah.
And this is just one example of the layouts that we do. I mean, we do everything from, we can put 6 bunk beds in one of these without, if we don't have a bathroom, but all kinds of different configurations of furniture and everything. So, and they're just good money makers, good return because people will pay a little extra to, stay in something really unique. And the
Yeah.
bathrooms have been very popular.
I bet.
Yeah. About 1 o'clock in the morning, the bathroom is even more popular.
Yes.
Oh, I
Completely.
remember doing that, Dennis. Like when I was younger and would tent camp more, because I have contacts, so I would have to put in my contacts and then walk to the bathroom and take the flashlight. And so yeah, you don't realize it until you're missing it how important it is at 1
Well,
a.m.
we have a customer that's looking at really buying a bunch of wagons, and they had someone fall down, going out at night, going to the bathroom, and they said, we'll never have another unit without a bathroom. So
Mhm.
anyway, there's something for everyone.
That's
Okay.
awesome,
Yep.
Dennis. Yeah, thank you so much for
Oh,
taking
good.
us on this tour.
Good to see you guys again.
Yeah, you too,
Yeah, you
Dennis.
too.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye.
That's actually a great point that I wouldn't have thought of. From it's a great
Well,
convenience
I wasn't even
factor
referring
having a
to the
bathroom,
company.
but
I guess that's what the colloquially are called.
having
And then you said that,
the liability risk of some. I mean, obviously anyone could fall at any point in your property, but in the middle of the night trying to get out of a unit or something like that, I could see that being a liability. So it's a great point.
Mhm.
Let's talk to Roy from Skyhawk.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Roy,
Good.
good. How are you,
Great.
sir? Sorry to make you wait a little bit. We're just kind of, we got so many
No,
things going on here.
Well, no, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on your show. Very happy to be here. Very happy to be at ARVC in Raleigh. Very excited about the show. Yeah, our company is Skyhawk Monitoring Products. What we do is we make 4G LTE monitoring devices, and we make them with a lot of different verticals. And one of them is RV campers and RV vehicles. Our device actually is an infrared IR device. It's called actually. I can kind of show you a little bit of this thing here. And what it does actually, it simply monitors movement within a space. So what you would do actually, for the RV owner, it would be placed on the wall of inside the vehicle, and you monitor any kind of movement, entry, exit, or any kind of movement inside the RV. And when movement is detected, you get a push notification, text message, or email, depending on how you want to do that. So it's a remote monitoring device. It's all is no power and no Wi-Fi required. It's all 4G, 5G, LTE, cellular, and battery powered. So implementation is as easy as sticking it on the wall. There's from the back this magnets, and you basically just put it up on the wall, and you monitor what you want to monitor, any kind of movement inside your vehicle. So when the owner leaves for the day, you can monitor your vehicle, if you will. And that's kind of what we do. And the device obviously has a lot of different applications, but here at ARVC, we're thinking of RVs mostly, and presumably it would be sold in the campground store and with a good margin. And so we think it's an interesting product for the RV community. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Maybe I missed this, Roy, but does it have a camera or does it not have a camera?
No, it does not. So all our products are non-invasive. So we make products for all kinds of monitoring situations. We make other things that water monitoring, noise monitoring, other devices like that, but they never have cameras because privacy issues and things like that, and home rentals and things like that. So no camera. It just simply monitors for motion with infrared sensors, if you will.
I was just thinking out loud from an RV owner perspective, right? Like obviously you're right on all the privacy and things, and that's probably the better path to take. But I was just thinking from an RV owner perspective, if I leave my dog in my trailer and I go out and enjoy the amenities, maybe I want to check in on him.
Yeah, and also actually one of the things we're all thinking about in the future would be actually sort of a temperature monitor or some kind of something that actually for the dog, for pets that are left inside the vehicles near the vehicle, because we actually have a whole host of different sensors that we attach to different devices, and with temperature, humidity, water, movement, accelerometers, different devices that actually use reed switches on doors and things like that. So the device that we're offering here, at this show, is simply just an infrared device and just monitoring motion right now. And we're basically just testing the waters and kind of the interest of it. I don't think we haven't found any device like that in the RV community, in the campground community right now. So we are seeing what the interest level is basically. And so we're down here, and we think the device is great though. It works. Yeah. If you want to mount it to the back door of your slider, your back door of your house, or any kind of opening your mailbox, or whatever you want to monitor, it monitors all kinds of motion and immediately alerts you to that motion. So we use self-storage facilities like that too, different places where you want to monitor motion, where there's no power and there's no Wi-Fi. That's our motto. No power, no Wi-Fi, no problem. It's all LTE, cellular, and battery.
Can you chain the devices together in like a corporate way so you can monitor 10 or 20 of them all at the same time?
We do. So we actually we were last week at Pest World in Las Vegas. Our company was, and we actually have hub and sensor devices also. So basically, there's a hub, which is the main unit that has and multiple sensors that do different things, monitoring different either water, movement, velocity, whatever you want, sound, that kind of thing. So yes, we do have that also. That we did not bring for this show because we were thinking more about the RVs and the RVs, and just entrance into the vehicle is what we're thinking about here. But it has been in business for over 30 years, and we make printed circuit boards originally, and still now also. We make components for very large companies. These are finished products or mod products, and that's what we'll be doing for the RV community.
I'm going to give you another sales pitch when you're on the expo floor tomorrow, and that is that you could put these inside owners' cabins and rental units, and they could monitor all of them to see if they're safe and secure. So
Yeah, same thing. It's just any kind of motion or movement. Yeah, obviously with the glamping and the high end type of, it's they have the RVs are interesting first because generally the locks aren't terribly good in different openings in RVs. This is kind of where it's maybe interesting. Other places lock pretty well, but yes, you can monitor all kinds of motion, whatever you want to monitor, any kind of motion in any kind of space. It works well.
Yeah, so from a security standpoint, from an ownership, right? If I've got 20, 50, 100 cabins and I have the peace of mind of knowing that they're all secure when they're not being rented or in the winter time or whatever, then I can imagine a lot of people buying those.
Yeah, we actually have for that actually different product. We have a hub and you can put the sensors throughout the whole, because it's all line of sight. It's throughout the whole campground actually. There's all kinds of possibilities. So we do all kinds of monitoring solutions.
How long is one of the things that was interesting to me when I came across your company was that it doesn't require Wi-Fi, it doesn't require any hardwiring, which I think is great because a lot of people, especially if it's, you're only going to have the unit for a couple of years or something, you don't want to necessarily hardwire something. So I thought that was great. But how long does the battery last if, say, someone wanted to use it if they were storing their trailer for for the off season, and they wanted to monitor if someone was breaking into their unit or something? How long does that battery last?
A very long time, because hopefully they don't break in, and so the battery. So the way all these units work, actually, there's a heartbeat check-in that occurs once a day, depends on how you set it up to make sure the device is doing what it's supposed to do. But beyond that, it just is when it's activated. So the device, this is all on Cat M1. It's a very low frequency band, low power band, and it's made for not a lot of traffic actually. So ideally, if no one's breaking in, it lasts even longer because there's no signals being used, no capacity being used. 2 years, 2, 3 years, 4 years actually, depending. It's a very long time actually. If you put it on your front door and you're always sending notifications, it's obviously less. But where there's there's a security application where most likely, hopefully, there's little use of the application because the security is not being breached, if you will, then it's very long line. Aside from it's just a daily or twice a week, 3 times a week check-in, how it's set up, and then actually sending the message. But this is all Cat M1. This actually band was developed for these low power applications. So they can stay in the field for a very, very long time. Devices now stay 5, 8, even 10 years in the field actually, depending on what they're doing. So it's it's a lot of really new cool technology coming out, and we hope we can also provide something to the industry here.
I can see that being. I'm so sorry. I can just see that being useful if it's like you were saying with people that have a lot of cabins, and if you're wanting to reserve that battery, and they've got a bunch of kids coming in and out during their stay. I could see it being really beneficial if you have like the docking station in place, but then you're taking it in and out of the unit as someone's checking in. Or as they check out, your housekeeping installs the unit when it's not being used so that you're not burning through your battery, and you don't need to be monitoring the comings and goings of people while they're actually staying in your park.
Your wife, you don't want to do that. No, so there's all kinds of applications for it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's a useful device actually, and
I mean, monitoring the comings and goings, I feel like there's a use case there, and I don't want to leave you out, Roy, because we did have an interesting idea for Alex. I feel like there's a use case here for you to rent these or give these to your guests. They can just stick them on the outside of their RV doors, and then you can know if anybody's coming out and making noise during quiet time at night, and send a security guard or an attack dog over there or something, right?
Yeah, there's all kinds of applications to monitoring motion. And sometimes I leave it on my front door sometimes. But I'm not monitoring my wife. I'm not doing that. No.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, Brian's talking about attack dogs. We all know everybody has breed restrictions, and we all know that's a hot topic in the industry.
Well, the owner doesn't have breed restrictions, just the guests. So the owner could have an attack dog.
The insurance
or
policy
one of those.
Only
What about one of the robot
dogs,
dogs, like the Boston Dynamics ones, right? You could have a robot dog that's just deployed with an automatic gate whenever somebody leaves their RV after 2 a.m.
Terrible.
Could be all kinds of things.
Yeah,
terrible.
I see those at every campground we go to. Robot attack dogs.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Every campground.
I guess I'm late to the party then. I thought it was an original idea, but
yeah.
Everybody better snap those up before Christmas. Here they're all the rage this year.
Joe, can
That's
you
the
walk
case,
us
and
around?
those in-camper bathrooms are probably a better investment than we originally realized.
Yeah.
Yes, see? It forces them to upgrade their So this is holistic, right? You can force them to upgrade their accommodations to include a bathroom if they don't want to be attacked by a robot dog. That's more revenue for the campground. It integrates with ideal software because we can track that higher revenue in CRMs with APIs.
I never cease to be amazed. Each week, I think that you demonstrate all the clear reasons why you're not a campground owner, and then the following week, you surprise me with a new reason.
To outdo himself. I know. Sometimes he says things to me, and I'm like, how does one even come up with that thought? How does that thought even enter someone's mind?
I feel that he has to have a bet with somebody. You know, there's words that somebody gives him like 5 words, and he has to use them in a sentence during each show. So I think that's the only way it's possible.
But that's actually a really fun idea. We should see if we can orchestrate that, Joe.
We will. We'll start that next week. That's fine. Yeah, Angela or Cara, you give me the words. You guys decide.
So Brian, you wanted me to walk you around a little bit, and
can you flip the camera around and maybe just kind of walk through and show us the expo floor and talk to us while you're doing it, or does that work?
I don't know if I can flip the camera around. But in either case,
that works too. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
That's very nice.
This is a glamping tent from Davis Tents, and so they're not here, so I'm not gonna go into their tent, but can look around. There's a few beds.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, and it's on a nice wooden floor platform. So, and then over right next to it, over here, is a treehouse yurt.
Love it.
So they have only half of it set up right here, but it just goes and wraps around the tree, and then it's like a yurt. I don't know. I haven't talked to them, so I don't know if that, you know, if it's off the ground or sits on the ground or how that works. But I saw it and I thought, well, that looks cool.
Yeah, you could what if you build like a realistic looking tree and have like a elevator, like a bell waiter inside it where you can send the food up and
Who put bellwaiter on their word salad list for Brian?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did we start the game already?
I can do this. I know I can do this. So we're gonna have fun.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
What else you got, Joe?
Well, actually, I'm coming over here and you'll have a familiar face. Casey's over here playing bags.
Oh.
Hey.
Hey.
Playing what?
Playing cornhole.
Right on.
So every year bring something to the table here.
I heard there was going to be liquor.
They can beat us in bags. They get free reservation software for a year. So that's
right on.
They said I heard there was going to be beverages.
We have beer and wine the whole time, of course.
See, look at Camp Spot go.
Dangle the carrot of alcoholic beverages, and that seems to help.
Going to make them a very popular booth.
They're going to be a popular spot.
Mostly for vendors. We'll see more vendors, but that's okay.
Casey will probably see a lot of
my booth a little closer to you.
Yeah, good seeing everybody.
Nice. Yeah, they always do something elaborate. I know a couple of the people are probably doing it too. I remember Staylist in 2019, I think, had a little what was it, a storage container that they cut out and had their booth set up inside. And so there's always kind of really cool elaborate setups.
Yeah, we'll come over to the dirt. They actually brought an RV in here, so I'll show you guys that too.
I think the real question that I'm dying to know is, are there puppies?
Right?
I have not seen any. We heard that they were going to do it again, but I have not seen it.
That was a Paula thing, and Paula's not there, so.
Yeah.
They were planning to do it. Well, when they had talked about possibly having in person last year, they said they were going to bring it back. And honestly, that's the only reason that I went to ARVC in 2019 was there were puppies.
Don't tell ARVC that. You're not supposed to say that out loud.
I'm kind of sort of only kidding.
They'll bring the puppies back then, hopefully.
I mean, you walk out of the banquet rooms and there were literal puppies that you could just pick up and cuddle. I don't know how there's anything bad about that.
Agreed.
Yeah, so you can see here.
The dirt.
Nice. Love
that. They brought in a little Class C or Class B van.
So nice. Ooh,
very cool.
Can you win that? Can you enter me for? Is there a draw?
Yeah. Can you just
I should look.
for the rest of the show, Joe? Can you just stand there and enter all of us and fill out the forms, and we'll just watch you?
I don't think it has a drawing, unfortunately.
Maybe we can just create one. we can convince them
Yeah, let's
that
just
it
auction off
was
their van and
actually.
they won't even know it.
Yeah, you're gonna give it away for
Live on
them.
the show. We have 9 minutes.
You guys are so,
And just have
you're
like
so
Tom
kind.
or whoever like wins it show up and be like, hey, that's mine. I won it.
I won that.
And, yeah.
Unfortunately, all of the people that they have 3 people at their booth, and they're all busy talking to people right now. So I couldn't
Well, that's a good
ask
problem
some
to have.
questions.
So.
Yep.
Great. Yeah. It's awesome.
Trade show hasn't even started yet. They're
Oh, where's
doing
your
well.
booth? Where's
Where's your booth?
Right by it,
Well, let's
actually.
go, man.
right under the 500 sign. Mine is not near as interesting. I didn't bring my Class A motorhome in here, but that's our setup.
Right on.
And unfortunately, since we're traveling right now, we did not get to bring our 6-foot-tall Android phone, so it didn't fit in my pocket. So next year.
I know, and some like I would probably have a booth there, like if my booth wasn't stuck in Missouri at someone's
Pretty
house.
sure your booth's at my
I
house.
was
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was smart and didn't foresee COVID coming and me not being able to get to Missouri again. So, but anyway.
So wait, your booth is at Joe's house?
Yeah, my booth is at Joe's house because Joe was driving it around for me a couple places to the state shows last year, and
What a nice guy.
yeah,
I
and
am.
and then COVID, and then all the shows got canceled, and so I think we went home from Wisconsin, and I was never had a chance to get it back. So
What are the storage fees at the Duemig's house for booths?
They should be a lot higher than they are. My
how
my
do I kick
9-year-old
Cara off the show? How do I cut her off?
my 9-year-old daughter was telling somebody, we just redid our basement, and she was telling somebody about how we have a bathroom down there. And she goes, well, we don't have a bathroom down there yet. There's going to be one. Right now it stores Dad's friends or Mr. Brian's stuff. So
Wow, you should be charging some fees.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I can offset that with good like sidebar advice for your children as they grow. I'm really good at that. So.
Careful what you wish for,
Well,
Joe, or Brian might ship like, I'm sorry, like 6 or 7 perky robots to your house, giant ones for your children to have. So
I think if I started charging a little bit to Brian, he would be more inclined to send more stuff. He's like, I'm just going to do this to annoy him, and even if I have to
I'm going to get my money's worth.
Rose says she's on board for storage.
Yeah, Rose is in. So what is this?
This is some like water equipment for kids to play on.
Cool.
So
can you crawl through there, Joe, live?
Yeah, is it inflatable?
I don't know if they want me crawling on their stuff. I might pop it.
All right,
so
that's true.
They have a whole on their booth. They have a whole setup here. It looks pretty cool. We went to a resort a few weeks ago, and my children loved playing on these. They had so much fun playing on these.
Rose says there's no room for robots at the Duemig's house. Brian.
That is definitely true.
Oh, Rose is watching. There's always room for robots, Rose. And if not, I can send suckers and candy and brownies and all kinds of things. I give that to Angela's children all the time, or at least I attempt to virtually.
Ooh, that's pretty, Joe. What's that?
Oh, that is pretty.
This is I guess a safari tent from Tent Masters. I'm not sure exactly what the name is. Again, it's on a platform.
Tent Masters. Yeah, they do such a great job.
Oh,
so
beautiful. It's like 2 twin beds and a bunk up top there.
I feel like that's like close to the size of my house.
But then it's awesome. It's got the seating area.
They're huge. They're really huge.
The seating area out front is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. I love it. I want one of those.
Well,
Here, I'll send you a
Joe,
brochure.
we're going to start a drawing for that one too.
Just
enter Cara and no one else.
We're just raffling people's things off without their knowledge. It's fine.
And then here's a bush safari tent.
Neat.
Nice.
So this is actually like a real. I mean, it's heavy. It's heavy material.
Canvas,
but it's supposed to be a real style tent. But
wow,
it's got. I don't know if that's a second room or if that's a bathroom.
Very dark.
Oh no, it's just a second little seating room. Oh, sorry, it's too dark for you.
No, that's okay.
They have it has a second room in there. I guess just to use as a seating room or a sleeping room for kids. It's probably big enough to put in maybe a twin size bed.
Nice. Okay.
So,
Yeah, see, that gives
and
you all
then-
kinds of different accommodation options that you can put in different areas of your park, and you create little villages and all kinds of things.
Yeah, I love the idea of just adding these really unique experiences to your park. I definitely would be exploring, having a couple different types of these if I was still an operator, for sure.
they're not here, but we were just at Cherry Hill Park in Washington D.C. and they have these glamping pods. I haven't seen them before, but it's just a little pod that has 3 beds in it. But they would be really cool instead of just your traditional tent camping. So for a really small glamping site, I would think they would have a great return.
Yeah, wow. Oh, so many great ideas out there. It's awesome.
And then we have a regular park model over here, and then they also have a log cabin style park model.
Pretty.
I feel like that's got to be terrible to be like the inventor of the park model and have Joe walk by and be like, "This is the regular one. There's the special ones over here, and this is the regular one."
Joe is a salesman.
Wow, I saw cabins, not parks.
Yeah.
So this is Lancaster Log Cabins.
Oh yeah, they do.
Which
such a
make
great
beautiful cabins. They've been on the show before.
job.
Like they're
really
handcrafted
good.
and just really
It's
like it's
a
real wood.
family-owned company, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
there is
not
a
too far from us here in Cleveland, but
there is a family in there. So,
Staying, like actually
Live on
staying,
camera.
like
well, I don't know.
staying.
I mean, I
Now
think
that
it
would
would
be
be.
an experience. Setting
I feel
for
like
people to sleep in the expo hall in the
At
park
the toy
models
show.
during the show.
yeah,
That'd be
Arvik could
great.
make some money off of that. I think.
Well, I don't know how many campground owners want to go and spend time in a semi campground. We just got away from they just left the park.
Just add it to the hosted buyer program. When you do your hosted buyer
Yeah,
meeting,
there we
you
go.
get
So
a
you
nice
can wake up in the
cabin.
morning and you can have your coffee and pancakes, and the vendor comes to you in your cabin.
Yeah, I like it.
Perfect.
Now we're all offering great ideas.
It spiraled really quickly.
Yeah, really did. Really did. Joe, I appreciate your time so much helping
No
us
problem.
with this. I wish I could be there in person.
Same.
Yeah, it's a shame. But thanks for, giving us the next best thing.
I'm sure my walking through here is almost like real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty close.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, next year
That's
you're
what
going to
we
have
go
the
for.
drone, and you can get some VR 3D goggles that we can tour, and it'll.
You're
be
gonna have to
close.
ask Rose if I
I'll
can
be
buy a
there.
drone for that.
I
Rose,
already checked. She said yes.
yep, done. Rose already said yes, so.
I'm waiting for her to yell at me in the comments and saying, no, drone.
Literally, I have the chat pulled up, and I'm waiting for Rose to comment in there. So, or just find like there's got to be a drone vendor. We can just have a giveaway for you, Joe. Oh, he left.
Yeah.
So.
He's gone.
Maybe Rose probably
Rose
found
found
him
him.
and was like, "You need to leave the show right
Yeah,
now
get
before
off
Brian
there."
has more ideas."
Buying so many things. Leslie's asking in the chat if there's a list of vendors and contact info. I'm guessing that's at ARVC's website.
Yeah, I think they have the list of the vendors. I don't know if they provide the contact information, but Leslie, if there's anybody that you want to get in touch with, just shoot us an email, and I'm sure between all of us on the show, we can figure out how to get you contact info or something like that. But
Some of the profiles, if you're looking at the actual OHCE website and looking at the list of vendors, when you're looking at the floor plan, then you can click on different booths and you can see who's where. Some of them built out their profiles and some of them didn't. So that's actually how I found the people that joined us today. So the people that actually had information saved on their booths for contact is who I contacted. So yeah, it just depends on who you're looking at.
So I'm going to, Leslie, just pop this into the chat on the Facebook channel too. It's just the OHCE website. I will get that in there for you. I could also just PM it to you.
Rose said she was distracted, but it's too late, Rose. Sorry. We already said that he could get a drone.
Oh, he's back. Joe's back. Oh yeah. Maybe he was using the drone. That's why he left.
Joe can buy a drone with the storage fees he's going to make off of Brian.
It's fair. It's a valid point.
There we go.
I like it.
That's funny.
Storage for drones. It's a new company.
Yeah, direct trades. We only accept payment in drone. It's an awful business model, Joe.
Just so you know, Brian's going to run with it. Just wait. Like, I see it on the tip of his tongue. He's ready to go.
Guys, this is really, really spiraled so quickly. I just
I know we're almost at an hour
we're
anyway.
almost out of time.
Do we have any parting thoughts? Let's give Roy and Alex, who are still on with us. Do you guys have any parting thoughts? Tell us, for the people who might be watching who are at ARVC, booth numbers, times of the expo that we're going to be there.
Yeah, well, I'll move to slide 526. And we're there whenever it's open. I think 6.
Alex?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Roy was just cutting in and out a little bit. So yeah, Roy, one more time, Roy, your booth 526?
526, 526, and tonight, 6 to 9. And
okay.
8 to 4 was the show.
Right on.
Okay, 6 to 9 tonight, 8:30 to 4 tomorrow. Cool. Alex, booth number?
And Ideal is at 1417. It'll be same time.
17, okay.
Unless we're over at Camp Spots getting a beer.
Right.
How did they number those booths? Like, is there really 1,400 vendors?
No, they have blocks. They have they have blocks every 100. So every row is a new number.
Got it. Okay.
And I'm at 512.
That seems like it would be easier to find, so they put some thought into that, hopefully. It looks like
They have big banners. You can see right above my head here. They have big banners on which row you're on. So if you're looking for the 500, you would just go to the 500 row and look.
Nice.
That's great.
When I was looking over the vendor listing for this year, for me anyway, I feel like there were a lot of vendors listed that I haven't seen in the past. And so I thought that was really interesting and also really cool to see some new products, new faces and things like that in the industry and at the expo. So hopefully
there's quite a few.
find some really great things. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I put the website up there. Thanks, Cara. It's replying to Leslie Pringle, but also for anybody else who wants it, arvc.org/OHCE. Obviously, it's probably too late to fly to Raleigh and attend the show. Maybe not. But go on there, browse some vendors.
I think I heard that they don't have any more full registrations available because of food orders and all of that stuff being completed and kind of maxed out their capacity. So
yeah, I heard that too. But there's a really great list of exhibitors and stuff on via the link. So for anyone who can't make it down, but is interested in anybody we chatted with today or anybody else on that list, there's contact info and lots of great stuff available there to check out.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Joe. Really appreciate your time taking us around the expo hall. Thanks, Alex and Roy, for joining us. Thank you to Heather. She had to drop off, but really appreciate her insight into the education and the things that she's attended to. As always, Cara, appreciate you being here with us. Angela, appreciate you being here. She'll be a regular part of the show going forward. That's from Modern Campground. And then, I don't know, do we have any parting thoughts? Anybody else want to say anything, Cara? Angela?
No, I think it's always a fun time for this industry this time of the year where, there's a bit of a shift for certainly those parks that are more seasonal, but I think, there's lots of folks all over the place at conference, the dealers and both the US and Canada are gathered in Vegas right now as well for their convention. So lots of cool, exciting stuff happening. It's great to see the industry continue to grow this way. Love it.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate again, like Roy, Alex, make sure that you stay in touch with Angela. We'll write some articles for you on Modern Campground.
Thank you.
We want to keep telling those stories, and that we are providing coverage of ARVC on moderncampground.com. We're also doing some coverage on RVDA's convention that is happening there in Las Vegas. So super excited about that stuff. And as a reminder, as always, we are syndicated as a podcast on all the major platforms, Google, Spotify, Apple, all those kinds of places. This episode will be available afterwards on mcfiresidechats.com as well as all of those platforms. And so we hope you'll join us next week. I think our topic's a little bit in flux. We're trying to get a couple people on who are going to the KOA show and some other people there as well. Do we have anybody confirmed yet, Angela? Or are we still working on that?
No, not yet. We're still working on it.
Yeah, reach out to us, guys. Anybody in the audience that's attending those shows, please get in touch.
Yeah, that would be great.
We'd love to chat with you.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us again. We will see you next week,
guys.
and have a good time at ARVC. Take care.
Bye
All right, thanks. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of MC Fireside Chats, hosted by Brian Searl and Cara Csizmadia. Have a suggestion for a future show or want to see your campground or company as part of an episode? Email us at hello@moderncampground.com. Join us next week for another episode. And don't miss the latest outdoor hospitality news and commentary from around the world at moderncampground.com.